Center for Spiritual Living right here in beautiful Fullerton, California. Thank you all for joining us here today in person and also online. My name is Tomoko Rosas and I'm a practitioner at the Spiritual Center. Please join me in stating our purpose statement. We are a loving spiritual community, empowering all to live healthy and successful lives through practicing the principles of science of life. Before we get started, I have a few announcements. Thank you everyone for joining us last Sunday to celebrate Easter with us. It was so wonderful. And today, Reverend Bill and Beverly are taking their well-deserved vacation for the next couple of weeks. And we have Reverend Donna Baranyay with us today. And I will introduce her later. This is a public service announcement. Mother's Day is Sunday, May 11th. And don't forget to call or acknowledge your mother on that day. Bring your mom or your mom figures to church and join us for a special coffee fellowship that day. If you'd like to attend our next QHHT past life regression session or would like more information, please sign up at the welcome table and the next date will be announced shortly. And Wednesday's spiritual support group is weekly at 1 p.m. and that's for free to everyone, so please join us. Unexpected Income Club is doing great and thank you all for your continued commitment to that. All right, so I'm going to leave it there and I will pass it on to Tommy.
Be still, let God love me. I need to be still, let God love me. When this old world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still, let God love me.
Good morning. Together we shall invoke the power, presence, and purpose of this teaching community, providing service to all in the region, knowing that every woman and man has access to all the power there is, the presence, the only life, and the only God that there is, which resides in the secret place of the Most High within ourselves. We are grateful for the volunteers that serve, to include our practitioners, the Board of Trustees, ushers and greeters, the hospitality group, and our dedicated congregation that funds the activities of the spiritual community. We also are very grateful for our staff, our administrator, musical director, and spiritual leader, Tomoko, Tommy, and Reverend Bill. And as we go into service today, we are grateful for our guest speaker, Donna, Baranyay, knowing that the message will be well received by all. And so it is. I am Amanda Secola, practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living Fullerton. And I will be reading from our book by Ernest Holmes, Creative Mind and Success, from pages 17 and 18. And in that he says, we will always attract to us in our lives and conditions according to our thought. Things are but outer manifestations of inner mental concepts. Thought is not only power, It is also the form of all things. The conditions that we attract will correspond exactly to our mental pictures. It is quite necessary, then, that the successful businessman or woman should keep his or her mind on thoughts of happiness, which produce cheerfulness instead of depression, and should radiate joy, and should be filled with faith, hope, and expectancy. These cheerful, hopeful attitudes of mind are indispensable to the one who really wants to do amazing things in life. Putting every negative thought out of our minds, once and for all. Declaring freedom. Know that no matter what others may say, think, or do, that you are a success now, and nothing can hinder you from accomplishing your good. All the power of the universe is with you. Feel it, know it, and then act as though it were true. This mental attitude alone will draw people and things to you. Begin to blot out one by one all false beliefs, that any idea that man is limited or poor or miserable. Use that wonderful power of will that God has given to you. Refuse to think of failure or to doubt your own power. See only what you wish to experience and look at nothing else. No matter how many times the old thought returns, destroy it. Know that it has no power over you. Look it squarely in the face and tell it to go. It does not belong to you, and you must know that. Stick to it, because now you are free. Rise up using all the faith of one who knows what he is dealing with, and declare that you are one with the infinite mind. Know that you cannot get away from this one mind, that wherever you may go, there, right beside you, waiting to be used, is all the power there is in the whole universe. When you realize this, you will know that in union with it, the only power, you are more than all else. You are more than anything that can ever happen to you. No, if God makes things out of his own thought before they come into manifestation, then we must use that same method. This means a persistent, firm determination to think what we want to think, regardless of all outer evidence to the contrary. Let us pray. There is one power, one presence, one consciousness, from which all things issue forth, and we are born of the divine forth as our birthright, which confers access to that amount of power that I and all others recognize and accept. It is this recognition and acceptance that allows the power of Spirit to work in, as, and through each one of us. It truly is the Father within that doeth the work. As I surrender through the process and accept my being as a conduit of divine love, demonstrations abound around me. The demonstrations are God's gifts to the circumstance and is the recognition of our oneness. Many blessings for this congregation here and on the internet, knowing that as we believe, it is given unto us. I am eternally grateful for all the good that is ours to have, and I release my word into the divine action of the law, knowing it is already done. I simply let it be. And together we say, and so it is.
Something, you were my dream. your love. You're perfect, you're golden, you're my life, my love. When I'm sad, when I'm dark, shallow, and in doubt, when I listen, I hear this beautiful music out of nowhere. You're perfect, you're golden, you're my light, your love. You're perfect, you're golden, you're my light, my love. La 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 You're perfect, you're golden, you're light, your love. You're perfect, you're golden, you're my light, my love. Perfect, golden light, my love. You're perfect, golden light, my love. Thank you.
Reverend Donna Baranyay has been a licensed CSL practitioner for over 20 years right now, and religious science minister since 2007. For the past 15 years, Reverend Donna has been called to hospice, chaplaincy, and grief counseling, a call she is honored to have answered. Reverend Donna affiliated her ministry with Centers for Spiritual Living in 2023 and is excited to begin this new and exciting adventure in the unfolding of her ministry. Reverend Donna currently serves as a staff minister at CSL Huntington Beach and supports Center for Spiritual Living Visalia as a guest speaker. Today she is speaking on By Divine Design. Please join me in welcoming Reverend Donna.
Morning. Good morning. Grateful to be here this morning. We'll be talking about divine design, but did everyone get an affirmation from Sally today?
Yes.
I love it. It's so much fun. Mine is, I give myself the green light to go ahead and I joyously embrace the new. And here we are just having had Easter last week. It's perfect. We're moving into this week. And I did listen to your Easter message. It was fabulous from last week. We'll be talking about divine design today, but I wanted to think, for those of you who use IT when you have computer problems like I do, there was a person who called IT Tech for help, and he was asking them to right-click on their mouse. And the person said, well, mine doesn't have a tail, so I guess it's a hamster. So the IT person just silently thought to themselves and said, okay, right-click on your hamster. How many times do we have our own verbiage for something, and we're thinking about the divine in a way that's unique to each of us? And that's the truth of who we are, is having that invitation to step into this greater yet to be in trust. I know your theme for this month is living in trust. And sometimes that's hard to do, isn't it?
when we're kind of going through life and we're figuring out what's important to us and how things are going, and maybe we're having some challenges along the way. But in reality, when we can really turn within, like Sally's meditation this morning, and trust, know that that chair is supporting us, knowing that we are firmly grounded in Mother Earth, knowing that all that is needed is provided, and we're filled with gratitude, to allow that gratitude to just well up from within us. Because we do teach in our principles that the divine is in the midst of each and every one of us, no matter the appearance. We go to the highest idea and know that that seed has been planted. Like Tommy's song, "I'm golden." It's perfect. We may not understand that in that moment, but in that moment, we can trust that highest idea. Or do we look for our expectations versus expectancy? And there's a difference between the two. If I have an expectation that something is going to show up as a certain way, I might miss the good that's coming in a different way. So if I have an expectancy of my good and be open to how that shows up, I'm allowing that divine design, that divine idea, to show up in a way that's meaningful to each and every one of us and to myself. Ernest Holmes says, "Stop trying, stop struggling. Begin to be calm, to trust the higher laws of life. Even though you do not see them, they are still there." I know I sometimes struggle and I'm trying to figure out which way I'm going or what's next for me. And then when I can just relax into that knowingness, know that higher idea is unfolding. Because it can be a beautiful experience to engage with one another. And to have that invitation to see and feel and know the love that is present. We all go about our week, and then we come to church on Sunday, we're coming to be lifted up. Not just to check a box, I did church on Sunday. We come to be lifted up and to be enfolded in that love and light of spirit, that truth of who we are. And I know as Dr. Bill is on vacation with his beautiful family, that we know that his consciousness is still here. It's always here, isn't it? He has this energy, this essence that just lights up a room. But he's reminding us, he's mirroring it back to us, that each of us have that experience and that opportunity. Ernest Holmes also says we are born to create and we can't help it. Why is that? Because God, the great creator, is in us. We are creating in every moment. And when we can take a look at that which we are creating, we can get an idea of what's unfolding. The definition of the divine is sacred, God, or holy, or spirit, any of the God qualities that are meaningful to us, and a design is a plan. But we don't necessarily believe in a plan that is laid before us, that we don't have any choice in it. We believe in a divine plan that's unfolding for us as we step on that road and step into that knowingness of who we are. I like the reading from The Creative Mind is Success. I picked up that book to look through it as well. And what I felt called to read actually was from this thing called You. I went through several of Ernest's books. And in the very first page, he says, "Evolution is proof of an irresistible urge which pushes everything onward and upward. Man did not create life. He is something that lives in, from, and by it. He cannot escape life or the necessity of giving expression to it through living." We're on this journey. We're here for a divine reason. We don't always understand why or how, but we're here for a higher idea and for that expression to guide us and direct us and lift us up when we can go within and listen. I love that you start with meditation before your service, because it gives you all the time to come together and connect in that higher idea and that energy of life and of love and of peace and of joy and of wisdom and of all the goodness that is coming forth. And then we started right off with gratitude. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this healing day. Thank you for all that is unfolding in my life. What a gift that is. What a gift that is. Because when we can come from that place of compassion, what do you think shows up? If you're in a place of compassion, what comes up for you? Love? Yeah. A like mind, right? If we go to prayer and we're praying for an idea or something to show up, what do? Do we allow it to just unfold, or do we try and get in there and fix it? A little bit of both, right? If we're going into that human side of us, right? That's where we have the gift of calling a practitioner or someone we trust to remind us of that higher idea and to let go of the struggle. We talk a lot in Science of Mind about the thought staying in the, but what if we were to bring it to the heart, to the body, and allow that divine design to express through our beingness, not just in our thoughts, but connect the two, in our beingness. When Tommy plays the piano, he's allowing that download through him, through the piano or the keyboards, so we can experience and enjoy the music. If it stayed up in his head, we'd miss a lot, wouldn't we? He'd get a great concert in his head, but we'd miss out. Take it through the body. Take it out into that higher idea. Because when we align with love, our life will be unfolding as a divine design. And sometimes that's in a way we don't understand. There's a Sufi story called The Tale of the Journeying Stream. And it talks about the stream from its course. It's in a far-off mountain. It's passing through every kind of countryside. And it's finally reaching the desert, the sands of the desert. And just as it had crossed every other barrier, the stream tried to cross this one, but found that as fast as it ran into the sand, it disappeared. It was convinced, however, that its destiny was to cross this desert. And there was no way it could see this was going to happen. Now a hidden voice coming from the desert itself whispered, "The wind crosses the desert, and so can the stream." The stream objected as it was dashing itself against the sand and only getting absorbed, that the wind could fly, and this was why it could cross the desert. By hurtling in your own accustomed way, you cannot get across. You will either disappear or become a marsh. You must allow the wind to carry you over to your destination. But how could this happen? By allowing yourself to be absorbed in the wind. But this was not acceptable to the stream. After all, it had never been absorbed. It did not want to lose its individuality. And once having lost it, how was one to know that it could ever be regained? Sound familiar? When we're stepping into this higher idea, we're not sure how we want to work through this. The wind, said the sand, performs this function. It takes up the water, carries it over the desert, and lets it fall again as rain. And the water again becomes a river. How can I know that this is true? It is so. And if you do not believe it, you cannot become more than a quagmire. And even that could take many, many years. And it certainly is not the same as a stream. But can I not remain the same stream as I am today? You cannot, in either case, remain so, the whisper said. Your essential part is carried away and forms a stream again. You are called what you are even today because you do not know which part of you is the essential one. When it heard this, certain echoes began to arise in the thoughts of the stream. Dimly it remembered a state in which it, or maybe some part of it, had been held in the arms of a wind. It also remembered, or did it, that this was the real thing, not necessarily the obvious thing to do. And the stream raised its vapor into the welcoming arms of the wind, which gently and easily bore it upwards and along, letting it fall softly as soon as they reached the roof of a mountain, many, many miles away. And because it had its doubts, the stream was able to remember and record more strongly in its mind the details of this experience. And as it reflected, now I have learned my true identity. It had to trust that the wind was going to carry it and allow it to fall again as rain, to become a river, become a stream. Sometimes I think we struggle with realizing that sometimes there's something that's going to shift in us, and yet something even greater is going to, that we can even imagine, will manifest, will demonstrate. But we have to let go of that which we've held on to be open to something new, to open to a grand design, to a higher idea for our life. And it's so easy to feel like I've got one foot in one world and one foot in another, but I have to move both into that new world in order to really step into that true design of who we're called to be, how we are called to show up, and allow that tapestry of life, that divine design. If we think of it as a tapestry, it's amazing and beautiful, all the colors coming together. And if you look behind the tapestry, that's where you see all the knots and all the other things for those who quilt and sew and things like that. It doesn't look so nice behind. That's the work we do behind that, the prayer work, the meditation, the doubts, to recognize and come back into that idea, that highest idea that's unfolding for us. And then we can see that beautiful tapestry. I might have shared this before, but it's really loud in my head right now. A dear friend of mine, Reverend Juanita, says you cannot compare your insides to someone's outsides. So if I'm looking at a tapestry, I'm looking at the outsides. If I'm looking behind that tapestry, I'm seeing the inside. We're invited to not compare the two. But both are needed. In order to see that beautiful tapestry, you have to have all the knots and all the yarn and everything, or the threads, whatever you're using to create this tapestry. That's all has to be there in order to see that beauty that's there. So sometimes when we're walking through a challenge in our life, that challenge is going to give rise to a greater yet to be, something new to step into. A friend of mine calls God the great leader in chess. I don't play chess very well, but she loves chess, and she says that it's like life is a chessboard, and when she is praying for something, she knows God is moving those chess pieces exactly to where it needs to be for it all to unfold. And when I get that visual, I admit I see the Harry Potter chess game going right now, if anyone has ever seen Harry Potter and they play chess. You really have to step into that knowingness and trust that highest idea that's unfolding. To know there's a greater idea, there's a greater plan. Neil Donald Walsh says there is a divine purpose behind everything, and therefore a divine presence in everything. What do each of you do when you're having a question? I know we just came through Easter and Holy Week, and we're moving further into springtime, which is all about new beginnings and new life. And my mom participates in the garden club in Lakewood, so we filled our entire back of the pilot with plants that she'd been growing to donate to their plant sale, and all I could see was new life and all these beautiful plants. And of course she'd use the scientific name for it, and I'd be like, okay, English please. Oh, you want the begonia, or you want the geranium, or you want the walking iris versus another kind of iris. You know there's a lot of different types of irises out there? I didn't. I just know they're pretty. That's the divine design. So when you say you want an iris, does she want the walking iris? Does she want the double-bearded iris? Does she want the yellow iris? We have to be clear on what it is we're calling forth, right? Because if we're not, the universe doesn't understand. We're wishy-washy. And then sometimes that's an invitation to step into, okay, I want to get clearer with this. And am I allowing it to unfold, or am I pushing it? Am I forcing it? That doesn't feel good, does it? In our body, if we take it to our body. But that higher idea that's unfolding and living that truth is a gift. And I do believe the divine moves as we go. It invites different experiences into our life. We meet someone, maybe not by mistake, but because they have something to show us in our world. Either to teach us, or to mirror something back to us and say, maybe I want to do this a little differently, or maybe I want to affirm this in a different way. Or I can't wait to see this person because it brought me so much joy. I might have to wait a week to see them, but I can't wait. Because I know they're going to touch that part of me that's the divine. Are we committing to this new life? Are we committing to this divine idea, to this divine design? Only we know the answer. And if you're not hearing a resounding yes, I'm going to invite you to go back to your spiritual practices to maybe make it a little clearer, maybe a little sharper as what it is you want to experience. Do you envision when you get up in the morning a beautiful day, or you wonder how your day's going to go and then call it good or bad? Or do you commit to having a great day no matter what happens? And look for the gratitude, look for the goodness in life, look for the peace in life, and to be open to that goodness. Because when we live in trust, we are living in an idea that we are part of that one. That divine idea is guiding and directing us in every moment because it comes forth from within. And we all know the Pope made his transition the day after Easter. Has anyone read what he wrote while he was in the hospital? It's absolutely beautiful. I'd like to end with this before I go to prayer, because it talks about the divine design. He says, the walls of hospitals have heard more honest prayers than churches. For those of you who've spent time in hospitals, you might think about this. I know as a chaplain, this really spoke to my heart. They have witnessed far more sincere kisses than those in airports. It is in hospitals that you see a homophobe being saved by a gay doctor, a privileged doctor saving the life of a beggar. In intensive care, you see a Jew taking care of a racist, a police officer and a prisoner in the same room receiving the same care, a wealthy patient waiting for a liver transplant, ready to receive the organ from a poor donor. It is in these moments when the hospital touches the wounds of people that different worlds intersect according to a divine design. And in this communion of destinies, we realize that alone we are nothing. The absolute truth of people, most of the time, only reveals itself in moments of pain or in the real threat of an irreversible loss. A hospital is a place where human beings remove their masks and show themselves as they truly are in their purest essence. This life will pass quickly, so do not waste it fighting with people. Do not criticize your body too much. Do not complain excessively. Do not lose sleep over bills. Make sure to hug your loved ones. Do not worry too much about keeping the house spotless. Material goods must be earned by each person. Do not dedicate yourself to accumulating an inheritance. You are waiting for too much. Christmas, Friday, next year, when you have money, when love arrives, when everything is perfect. Listen, perfection does not exist. A human being cannot attain it because we are simply not made to be fulfilled here. Here we are given an opportunity to learn. So make the most of this trial of life and do it now. Respect yourself, respect others, walk your own path, and let go of the path others have chosen for you. Respect. Do not comment, do not judge, do not interfere. Love more, forgive more, embrace more, live more intensely, and leave the rest in the hands of the Creator. The only thing I would make change in this, and what the Pope had to say, is I would focus on what I want, not what I don't want. I want to embrace life. I want to love one another. I want to have a heart filled with compassion. Don't wait until everything is perfect. There's always divine perfection in everything. We're imperfectly perfect. That's one of my favorite sayings. Because the divine is the highest idea that's expressing through and as us in this moment. So when we're in hospitals or airports or any of those places, we're seeing life, we're seeing change, we're seeing love, we're seeing raw honesty. And we're realizing what's important, to be grateful for what we have, for who's in our life. I love coming here to see everybody. I don't always remember names, but I remember faces, because you have a heart of compassion. This center is a beautiful expression of spirit, And just as the Pope was sharing about forgiving and loving and being compassionate and looking beyond appearances, is really what I feel he was saying. Are we stepping into that higher idea? Are we putting limits on ourselves? Are we letting go of that limiting belief? So I'm going to invite us to turn within in prayer and recognize and know there's a higher idea. That I recognize and know that in this moment we call it God, we call it Spirit, we call it love, we call it grace. Ernest Holmes said, stand for something and against nothing. That is the divine design. What is it that I am standing for? I'm standing for love and compassion and peace and oneness, knowing it is that one life that is having its way through and as each and every one of us. That I recognize and know that as I am one in God, that is the truth for each and every one of us. As Sally shared in her meditation and Amanda in her opening prayer, there is a oneness that is deep within us that is directing and guiding us in this moment, connecting us on the heart level. That I recognize and know in this moment that I call it good and very good. I open my heart to feel and sense and know that divine design is having its way through us, that it's expressing, rising us up in vibration, that it is the music of our hearts that is showing up. And grateful for the avenues that it does show up. A word, a poem, a song, a lyric, a smile from a stranger, a loving hand of a friend. Someone who walks into our hospital room filled with love to remind us of the light that we are. This is the truth of who we are. And as I recognize this truth, I say, thank you, sweet Spirit. As I release my word into the law, I already know it is done. It is acted upon because I know our teaching heals, transforms, rises us up, and allows that highest truth to unfold as us in this moment. Grateful for this tradition, grateful for this knowing. I say thank you, sweet Spirit. As I release this word into the law, it is done, and so it is. Thank you very much.
This is our opportunity to share our abundance. We know that all our good comes from one source, God. And for this, we are so grateful. We bless these tithes, gifts, and donations, knowing they are given from the central core of who we are. That is, God made manifest on this plane of existence. We release these giving and with the blessing in our hearts to go forward and do its works, its good works in the world. And so it is.
I don't know what you do to me, but I like it. I like it. I don't know what you do to me, but I like it. I like it. How did you set me free? What could your secret be? 'Cause I like it. Yeah, I want more of it. I want to fill to overflowing. I like it. Never get bored of it. Don't even tell me where I'm going. I guess this is what they call being unafraid to fall. And I like it. I don't know how you gave me life, but I like it. I like it. I don't know how you gave
All right. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It's happening in my mind. It's happening in my body. It's happening in my affairs. I think it. I feel it. I see it. I believe it. I know it. I accept it. Thank you, God, in me. And so